In this video, I'm gonna be talking about how I color grade all of my video work. Whether it's vlog footage, music videos, weddings, beat making videos, just how I color grade videos. And then also first, I'm gonna show you how I would adjust my camera settings to get the right exposure, which picture profile I use if you do use Sony's. That's a question I get asked a lot. And then we're gonna hop on the computer and actually color grade the footage. Welcome to the video.
Cracka Lack on the track.
What's up everyone, my name is Cracka Lack. Welcome back to Cracka Lack TV. If you're new to the channel, I used to be a music artist myself. Over a span of like 8 years, I put out over 16 projects. I was making all of my own beats, recording, mixing, mastering my own songs. Learned how to do music videos from doing my own music videos. Through self-awareness, I learned that being a music artist myself wasn't for me. I really enjoyed doing all the behind the scenes stuff. So that's what I do for a living for over 10 years, up until today. So on my YouTube channel, I document my journey and teach you guys along the way. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for future uploads. In this video, we're talking about color grading your video.
Cracka Lack on the track.
All right, you guys, so I'm on my way right now to pick up Malik. He helps me out with pretty much most of all the behind the scenes footage that you see on this channel here. And the gameplay in this, he's gonna help me out with filming 3 tutorials for the YouTube channel. I worked it. Yeah, they're brand new. They're brand new.
Yeah?
My shoes, that's what you're looking at, right? Oh, yeah.
I was looking over that rib. They rubbed off on me.
Hey, Adidas, if you're watching this, sponsor me, man. I get like 200 people to watch my videos, and man, everyone will be rocking Adidas. Adidas. All day, I dream about...
Sponsorships.
All day, I dream about sponsorships. Ha! Water. Drink responsibly.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
All right, first let's talk about why color grading is important. Malik right here is a photographer, and let's talk pictures, for example, right? You have a regular picture, and then once you color grade it, you make it pop more, right? You can bring out some of the colors, raise the highlights, lower the shadows. You can change the look of the picture and make it better, enhance it by color grading, right? And then the same thing with videos or music videos. There'll be a lot of times, B-Lil's right here. You see him on the channel when we did the how to shoot a cinematic music video. And with cinematic, you have lots of shadows. So when I color graded that music video, I dropped the shadows a lot and dropped some of the mid-tones as well. And then there was lots of candles, so I added some warmth to the video to match like the candles in the fire. That's why color grading is important. I would say the most amateur mistake with color grading is doing too much. I'm gonna show you when we get on the computer and like adjusting the levels and the settings. I'm gonna show you some on-screen camera settings in which picture profile I use. I'm using the Sony a7S II. If you don't use the Sony, just skip past this part. All right, you guys, so I'm in my living room and I'm gonna show you how I would adjust my camera settings to correctly expose, let's say these pumpkins right here. All right, first let me show you which picture profile I use. It is picture profile 7. So for like the first year I had my camera, I used picture profile 8. And one day when I was in Atlanta, shout out to GT Films, he was shooting, you know, some big dog music videos. And then he told me to use picture profile 7, overexpose it by +2, and then crush the blacks when you edit it. So I tried it out and I like it. And then that's what I've been doing ever since. So what I mean by overexposed by 2, you see the bottom of the screen where it says +0.7, you would adjust your brightness. So that way it's +2. Now if you have it too bright like this, that +2 is flashing. It means it's too fucking bright. Darken it. So let's say right here, I was gonna film 4K, which is right here, 4K, 24 frames per second. My shutter speed first is gonna be double. So 24 frames per second times 2 would be 48. See, there's no 48, so you round up to 50. And then the aperture, almost like depth of field. Let's say I wanted it at 2.8. Right now I see that +2, it's flashing, it's too bright. So what I would do is lower the ISO. That's at 1.3, I'm gonna go up a little bit more. Honestly, that's good right there. Boom, okay. So I would record this, obviously adjust your focus. There it is, beautiful. That would be the shot right there. So this same video, now we're gonna go upstairs, hop on the computer, and do the color grading for it. I'm about to make a YouTube video. Look, this mic, this is like when you watch the girl playing the video games, and she's like talking to the camera. This is how you do it.
Cool.
Say something in there.
Hello. Same.
Yeah. Say mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Ta-da. All right, you guys, so for this color grading tutorial, I'm gonna be using Vegas Pro. That's what I've always used for over 10 years now. So just follow along and pay attention to what I'm doing. So even if you're using Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci, any software, just color grading in general is gonna be doing a lot of the same things, no matter which software you're using. So just follow along. Now, I know I said I was gonna color grade the footage that we did downstairs in the kitchen, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do something better. I'm gonna open up some actual clips from some videos that I'm editing right now. All right, so again, now this footage was recorded with a picture profile, and then after I grade this, I'm gonna show you how to color grade, even if it's not filmed in a picture profile, because I did about 200 music videos with my Canon T3i, and all of those music videos were filmed with no picture profile at all. But I would still always do some sort of color grading, adjusting the color, saturation, brightness for every video in general, even weddings, vlogs, behind the scenes videos. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through how I do this. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it. There's a million ways to do it, but this is how I color grade footage. The first thing I do, and now this is in Sony Vegas, so no matter which software you're using, try to find where you can adjust the saturation and then the highlights, the mid-tones, and then also the shadows. So this saturation line right here, you'll see if you drag it all the way to the left, it's black and white. You drag it all the way to the right, you're bringing in the color in. And what I've noticed is when I'm filming in picture profile 7, if I turn my saturation all the way to 3, it's almost like the colors are back there. Because you'll notice it's very flat with a picture profile. I'm sure someone's gonna ask, why should you use a picture profile? When you film flat, it gives you more dynamic range. So knowing that you're always going to color grade your footage or color grade your pictures, it gives you more freedom to enhance the picture. There's a lot more detail in the shadow. And when I used to hear that before I bought my Sony camera, I thought, what the hell does that mean? More details in the shadow. And then once I started editing footage that wasn't filmed on my camera, I could see like, oh dude, it just looks solid black in this whole area. On my camera, I can see the grays and all sorts of details in those shadows. So first I start with the saturation. Then I'd probably, so gain right here would be similar to using, let's say, curves. So color curves, what you see is at the bottom here, this is the shadows, this is how dark it is. And then at the top here, this is the highlights, how bright those are. And usually with any type of color grading, you're always gonna you wanna make the whites a little bit brighter and the blacks a little bit darker. So that's kind of where I start here. I'll make the blacks maybe like this, the highlights. I think that looks good. I think the biggest tip that I can give for color grading for everything that you do, always do it way too much, then do it way not enough, and then find that sweet spot in the middle, kind of turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. Make sure it looks better with the adjustment that you did. All right, so that's the curves I added. I'm gonna go back to the color corrector. Now, one of the most common popular things is adding some teal in the shadow like this. Adding a little bit of orange to the midtones, and then let's turn this off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. Do I think that this looks good? Yeah, let's see. What's cool with Sony Vegas Pro, up here at the top, this says split screen view. And when you click this, you'll be able to see on the left side where it's the raw footage, and on the right side it's the color graded. And it should look a whole hell of a lot better on the right side with what you adjusted. So honestly, I would probably keep it like this. With Sony Vegas Pro, gain is the highlights, offset is the shadows, and then gamma is your midtones. So you can adjust them right there. All right, so this is what I would feel is a good look for this video. Again, you turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. I think it looks a lot better after. This is what I would roll with for color grading this video right here. All right, so now I'm gonna color grade a clip right here that was filmed on a Canon that wasn't a flat picture profile. So here's the clip right here. All right, so again, the first thing that I'm gonna do is open up this color corrector. Just in your software, find where you can adjust the saturation. Get the saturation how you want it. I'm gonna add some saturation to about like right there. That might play with the shadows, the midtones. One thing I noticed when you adjust the high, if you go more towards the orange red, it looks more warm. I like warmth. And then now I'm gonna adjust, let's open up some curves. Again, sometimes you're gonna turn you want the whites to be whiter in most cases, but depending on the exposure of your footage, you may turn that down. That looks pretty cool to me. So that's the before, after. Like I said earlier, you just wanna avoid doing too much. I think amateur color grade would be like when you have your saturation like crazy high like this. This does not look natural. And again, sometimes maybe the look you're going for isn't natural. You want some crazy off the top stuff. That's what I like to do. Anytime I start editing a video, I usually adjust the colors first to kind of get in my head which look that I'm going for. Because sometimes I may want to do a very low saturation. Let's say we drop these mid-tones, turn up the whites, and we want a look that's kind of like this. Again, you can also use your graphs right here, and as I see like the whites, they're peaking kind of like way too much. So we would turn the exposure down a little bit to like right there. You don't always have to have your blacks touching 0 and your whites touching 100. And yeah, again, the color grading is just about giving the video, the image, the look that you're going for that fits. And like when you're doing music videos, what's the mood? What's the mood of the video? What's the mood of the song? What are you picturing? That looks pretty cool. So it's like the same video clip, but just with a different color grade can give it a whole nother look. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, you would have every clip would be perfectly exposed. Every clip would have the same white balance. And what you would do is you would slap on one color grade that would work perfectly for every clip in the entire project that you're editing, whether it's a music video, wedding, whatever. But what happens is sometimes maybe when you got your camera out, it was a little too dark or it was a little too bright. So then you would go through and individually adjust the exposure on those clips. And what I mean by adjusting the exposure would be the highlights and the shadows through curves. Curves is a good way to do that. Let's open up one more clip. This is gonna be another clip filmed with the Sony a7S II in picture profile 7. This clip right here, first off, shout out to Katie Noel. I'm gonna open up the color corrector. And I remember, so when we filmed this, we had some really cool RGB lights. And as you see right here, it looks very black and white. So again, that saturation, I'm gonna start turning that up till the colors pop. And let's adjust the brightness. Not too much. And sometimes I'll leave the shadows where they are and I'll just adjust the mid-tones. Just play around with it. Again, I'll always do stuff way too much like this. Okay, that's way too much. That's not enough. Let's go different directions. Oh, this is kind of cool over here towards the green. Let's make it not so much green. Turn it off, turn it back on. That looks pretty cool. Dope clip. There we go. And again, you can turn the side by side on, watch it. All right, if you guys have more questions, more topics that you want me to cover in future videos, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys next video. Cracka Lack TV, we out.